the lowly government job that Edward Elliot got was the Commissioner of Land and Plantations, which put him in charge of America. And actually his younger brother became the second governor of Florida at the age of 27. And a month after he had taken up his office, he hanged himself in his office, suffering terrible headaches. Yeah, Joe.
How did one become a Viscount in those days? I mean, where does that?
Well,
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I mean, historically it was a military rank essentially. As part of the feudal system, the king granted you land and you promised to raise troops. And there were levels of aristocracy, dukes, marquises, viscounts, all down to barons. But over the years, there's a good deal of money changing hands. £10,000 is how much Robarts, who's the real viscount, paid for that type of thing. In today's money, that would be millions. Predominantly, it's done through merit and through military service or governmental service, but there were many occasions when it would be something else. Actually, the Robarts family had an English barony and an Irish viscountcy. So they had a seat in the House of Lords with voting power through the English barony, but they had the ornament of the Irish title. And Mary you had a question.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Richard, two things. It's 1760s the year. What is the span during this volume? What is your
The plan
time
was
span?
that it would end in 1832, which is the Great Reform Act, when the political stuff straightened out. But I got carried away and I finished it in 1764.
So this is 4 years.
Yes.
That's all.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Okay.
A lot of breadth in this story.
Yeah.
As well as depth.
Yeah. Janet.
How long did it take to write this book, start to finish, with all the rewrites?
I'm claiming 5 years. Penny seems to remember 6 years. The early part was research, and kind of letting it float around in my head, setting up the sort of broad historical context, and then filling in the detail. I don't know whether that's a long time or a short time. I sent a copy to my brother-in-law's favorite pupil, who now lives in Australia, and where she's a history professor, and she said, I can't believe it only took 5 years to research and write such a rich book.
And with volume 2 and 3, do you think now that you've kind of been through the process, it'll be faster?
Oh, of course there'll be a walk in the park. The parks are just But it was a lot of rewriting. But it was very satisfying. It was very interesting to do. I kept on enjoying the story, and I learned so much from both Penny and Mo. And fiction is different from other kinds of writing. And the writers' group divided roughly into two camps. One was, tell us more, and the other camp was, too much information, yeah. And so one of the techniques was to, it was to give up some of the information, but not too much. It's my book. And so it became how to weave the history and the background and the context into the story. Through, for example, I used to lecture on the borough system. Now, Bunt asks the question as an inquisitive person and drags the answer out of his steward. So you kind of weave it into the dialogue, weave it into the characters' lives and their experiences. Janet. Go ahead. Charlie.
All right. You've got some marvelous detail in your book, and in one of your passages, the miners dig a big shaft out under the channel, and there's a storm in the channel, and they listen to the boulders rolling around on the ocean floor above them. Can you tell us how you found that detail in your research?
That came entirely coincidentally. We went to a mining museum in Redruth. Anybody here from Redruth? Red roof. Tell us about it in a moment. And the woman who is the curator of the museum had been told that by her uncle who had worked in the botanic mine. And that had been his experience. Yeah. Yeah. So you